Now is the time. We done met too long. We done strategized for way too much of time. And we have people out here that are suffering, that are struggling, that need our help, that need our commitment to them, that we will together win against the fight, against this austerity, against this injustice, and these inhumane conditions that those in charge are put up in.
100,000 Detroiters were foreclosed on because of these racist predatory loans. 250,000 people didn't leave Detroit. They were driven out of Detroit by the banks. And now these same banks, as Diane and other speakers have explained, hold first lien on our tax dollars through predatory loans on the city itself. We have to redefine the struggle. It isn't just a fight against Orr. Orr ain't nothing but an idiot. I deposed Orr. I asked Orr, you acknowledge that subprime loans helped cause the crisis? Oh, I don't know anything about that. I asked him about chargebacks. 82 million of our budget goes to chargebacks. Oh, I don't know about that. This is a guy we're paying $62 million to a bunch of consultants that are looting our city when the workers would do it for nothing and could organize the city, take back the money from the banks, rebuild our city. We need to drive Jones Day out, drive the emergency manager out, drive these consultants out. The workers know how to run the city. We need to retake our city, demand the banks repay us for what they've done. We know how to rebuild it, and let's make it happen.
You have to let him know that you're gonna leave a mark on him. Get a respect first. And that's not what's happening. We're not leaving enough marks. Look around. It's not enough people out here. So you got to tell your friends this is story. Look at me. I'm still leaving a mark. My lawyer, Jerry Goldberg, Vanessa Fuca, all the people, I can't begin to tell you, they stand up for me, help me leave a mark. Because that's what we're dealing with. It's a bully mentality. That's all it is. And once you start leaving a mark on these bullies, just remember what happens. Just think back in your childhood when the bullies start realizing that they can't bully no more. A lot of them turn into wimps. They bullying days is over. And then it's an open season. They have to take their bully cap off and retire. No more bullies.
At some point, people have got to wake up and say, this is a problem. And so people wake up and say, this is a problem, it's going to continue to happen because they're making money. They're making trillions of dollars off your tax dollars, off the backs of the people, off the backs of the community. And until people understand this and say, we aren't going to take it anymore, they're going to continue to do this. Why do we continue to fraternize with the enemy, as I call it? We're steadily using their banks. We're steadily pushing their credit cards. We don't say anything against the banks. We call a protest at Bank of America. We get 50 people when there's 50,000 people being thrown out in the street. This needs to stop. Now, you can go to any kind of ball game. You can go to the concert. You can get 10, 15,000 people. Why don't we have that now? Why do we not have that on something as important as maintaining our communities, maintaining our economic stability, and maintaining our rights and integrity? This goes to an issue of integrity. I mean, this goes to an issue of how much integrity do you have How much self-esteem do you have? I think it's outrageous that people think that you are so less that they can do any doggone thing to you because they have some money and you're going to lay down and take it. How many people going to continue to lay down and take it? Somebody needs to be ready to raise up today and collectively take some action and put a stop to all this nonsense, take our resources back, and stabilize our community and our state. Thank you.
No more bullies. So that's all I have to say. Rosa Parks beat down the bullies. She didn't want to be famous. She just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. She wasn't the first one, but she just got sick and tired. Say, I'm not going to do this no more. And look what happened. Montgomery bus boycott. Everybody not going to ride the bus, not going to take this no more. That's all it took. People willing to struggle, sacrifice, and put an end to it.
Kevin Orr is pretty much the emergency manager right now, and they're going to be selling off different properties within the city, and none of that money is going to go to help improve any of the cities. They could actually put a moratorium to get people back into their homes. I mean, you can step over on one block and you'll see brand new houses. The next block is completely abandoned, and nobody's really asking why. You know, I've seen my neighborhood transform over the years, looking over old pictures, and I'm not understanding why they're using taxpayer dollars to kick out our neighbors and pretty much destroy our communities. And no one's caring until it's them. People need to care before it's them. And youth need to care before it's them. And I know sometimes it's hard. Everybody is struggling, but that's one of the reasons those cutbacks are so personal for us, because it affects us on a very visceral, real level.
It's kind of bold because the question is, why is we still paying taxes? And I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Why
That's
are
a
we
very
still
good
paying
point.
taxes?
Yeah. When you say why are we paying taxes, could you elaborate on that a little bit more? Like what do you think? Why should we not be paying taxes?
I feel like we shouldn't pay taxes because if we're paying taxes, where is our money going? Because y'all not putting it back in the city, and we can clearly see that.
Mm-hmm. And where is that money going?
I do not know.
Do you know anything about the...
Water? Whose island? Whose island? Okay, now you're fired up, ready to go. We haven't spent $6 million in decades on Belle Isle. When they talk to you about Belle Isle costing you $6 million, what they're not telling you is that it costs about $3.7 million for the water connection on Belle Isle, and then another $2 million for the lighting on Belle Isle. That's where the money is. Now, the truth is, in terms of the overall maintenance of the island, before the director, who was there for about 17 years, left, I spent 4 hours with him. And one of the things we did as we walked around the island and rode around the island, it's clear that there is a need to maintain the island. But when they talk about the porta potties that the Free Press and the news took such great pride to tell you was just a disgrace on the island, they've always done that process. It's part of transitioning the island from a winter condition to a summer condition. When they talk to you about the trash pickup on Belle Isle, they left out the part that the mayor, one of the top things he did was reduce the staff for the island. Now, you and I know both, I don't know about you, but as activists, one of the things that I know at my house, for the last 2 months, I haven't dusted, and I've done what I call a quick mop of the kitchen floor. But sometimes you got to go into the crevices, into the corners, pull things out the cabinet. Well, those are some of the things that need to happen with Belle Isle. The marsh area needs to be cleaned out. In terms of the grass and the trash, that is picked up on a weekly basis by a staff that's run on a skeleton schedule. But they love the island so much, they come in on their days off, and they come in the evening times when they're off the clock.
They have grant money, $3.5 million exactly, that apparently has been given to the city 5 years ago, and they just sat on it. That could have been money used to reinstitute or, build up the schools, the DPS system. Everyone always mainly talks about that and how they have no books, they have very few teachers who care about students. Maybe if the teachers actually got paid, they would start to care about the students. These issues connect, and people need to start connecting the dots and thinking critically about these things. It's not that teachers necessarily don't care, they just see the dilapidation of the city. Youth are going to have to work with unions. Youth and unions are going to have to work with people who are commuters, and the commuters are going to have to work with other workers and organize. And a lot of youth, they have that energy, they have that fight, but they don't know how to direct it. And that's the problem. You can meet in a place and talk it out, but a lot of youth aren't trying to hear that. We want to get the ones who are the organizers, the ones who are the leaders, who are trying to go to government officials and shut stuff completely down. And it's only going to be those few youth. And once they see that, it'll instill confidence in other youth to probably step out in the street like what we did today. At first, everybody was walking around just a little bit unsure. But once you started yelling, once you had that confidence, other people started honking and started paying attention and saying they know what they want. They have that confidence. We see that they're not going to stop. And we need that kind of youth. And we got to go out and find it.
I want to change the communication that we have in our neighborhood. We don't have that much, basically, or if we have communication, it's about where the weed at, basically. Where the drugs, drinks, or you got this and that. They not elaborating on how to change it. Like, I feel like we should have trash cans on the end there every corner in the city of Detroit. And people not making a change for that, so they're not standing up.
Did you go to school in Detroit?
Yeah.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Northwestern, I went to and King.
What I'm about right now is trying to organize a youth movement to get youth involved, to join us in this fight. They are the ones that need to stand up for our city. They are the ones that represent what we believe here in the city of Detroit and elsewhere, around the world, around the globe. It's not just a Detroit problem. Everywhere else they cut in schools. When you cut schools, when you close down a school, you kill a community. When you close down these recreation centers, why are the young kids in the street?
We see no future in this system that has left most of the youth abandoned. There's deep cuts to schools, there's deep cuts to healthcare, which affects the mental health of the youth. They have all of this money, and by they I mean government officials, for drones, for war, to pay top elected officials who go in here and have no idea what the youth are facing on the streets. They're literally pushing them out into the streets.
When they talk about the money, there's no justification for us giving the island to the state of Michigan. Do you know that the DNR has not done a good job of managing its own islands, its own parks, and now they want yours? Do you know that we had an opportunity to put a cost on Belle Isle that would have garnered about $4 million? So that would have more than taken care of Belle Isle. Do you know that Central Park used something called naming rights? Naming rights would have allowed us in a small area on the island to put restaurants, fast food venues, and we could have mandated that they named those venues. Say, for example, McDonald's would have been Belle Isle McDonald's. Burger King would have been Belle Isle Burger King. Taco Bell, if that's your thing, would have been Taco Bell Belle Isle. But all of those entities would have to pay the citizens of Detroit to preside on our island. That was one option. We also had something called an entertainment zone. There was a vendor that came to the table. He was willing to provide $100 million to the citizens of Detroit for leasing area on Belle Isle. Not to buy it, not to own it or control it. He just wanted 1 acre so that he could basically put in place go-kart riding, a Ferris wheel, maybe some skeet shooting kinds of things. But these would have garnered activities and also would have put money, revenue into the pockets of Detroiters. That would have meant $10 million per year for him just to have an activity on the island. We also are seeing now that they believe the state is going to control your island, that now they're going to open up the ability to have carriage rides again. Now they're going to start talking about canoeing again on the island. As a matter of fact, you've seen Mr. Cockrell already start having conversations about kayaking. Well, the kayaking is just a code word for the canoeing. He's not going down the Detroit River. They're going to be right on your island on Belle Isle. The other thing you need to know is that Belle Isle has the ability, if we were thinking in an innovative way, we should be looking at hydrogen energy. We also have the Coast Guard stationed on our island. Why are we not collaborating with our schools and collaborating with the island and as well as the wildlife preserve to put together a plan to educate our children on how to maintain the island, teaching them about the career paths in wildlife preserve, using it as a way to introduce them to aquatics. There's so much that could be done that's not being done. But my message to you is this. You've got to make a decision that you've got to expand this fight beyond the people that are here. Because if we just keep it in our closed conversations among just us activists, we won't win this fight.
But everybody knows if you can't get people into the streets, if you can't shake up the system from them fearing the loss of what they've stolen from people, then no court battle, no smart attorney, no phrase in the state constitution, no phrase in the American Constitution will have anything to do with your success. It's when you're out there, you do things. All right? And as far as
honestly, I don't know. I feel like if we do go into bankruptcy, somebody gonna end up buying Detroit. Something like that. I don't really know.
And the youth need to organize together with each other across all organizations, across all ideologies, to get demands for a better future. And we have to come together as youth.
You've got to go to your churches, your mosques, your synagogues. You've got to go to your block clubs. You've got to challenge your pastors. You can't let anyone off the hook. Because what you've got to know in this fight is that they may come for Detroiters today, but they're coming for the rest of them tomorrow. And as Detroiters, we are the heart of this fight. They know that labor's on the line. They know that jobs are on the line. They know that home ownership is on the line. They know that control of your assets. Belle Isle is just considered a feather in their cap. But they want your water, because if they control your water, they control your life. They control the ability to create industries that will be self-sustaining for Detroiters. So what I'm encouraging you today to understand, I always have to go back to scripture to draw some strength. Because as I know, like many of you, this fight gets weary. The word of God says we're counted as sheep for the slaughter. That we're killed all the day long. But there's one little phrase in there that's encouraging. It says nay. And nay means no. Nay. In all of these things, we're more than conquerors. I want you as Detroiters and activists to know this is the fight we were born for. We were born for this moment. We were born for the resistance of this moment. I'm encouraging you, if you believe in anything that's greater than yourself, then understand that this is your fight and this is the fight to get in. Your children deserve it. They're waiting on you. Your elders deserve it. They're waiting on you. Get up, resist, fight, and resist the tyranny of our day. This is our fight. This is our moment. Thank you so much.
all right.
What would you like to see change? Like in your neighborhood or in the city?
It's actually what we're working for, which is self-sufficiency. Just creating everything that you need to sustain yourself. So That's it. That's really being an adult and not being an infant. You know what I'm saying? And having to, it's really having the freedom of time.
Right.
Because the pyramids were built by people who could sit down and think.
Right.
Not, I gotta go work for 8 hours so I can pay this. So if you creating everything that you pay for, you don't have to pay nobody for it. Starting with housing, food, clothes, transportation. Those are the 4 key areas.